Namaskar and welcome to webinar series on hydroponics and aquaponics farming. First of all, I thank you all for joining us on this webinar series, and we are really delighted with the responses and feedback we got from you for our last session in last week. We assure you that together we will learn lot of new things and new prospect in farming as such. And as I said earlier also, this is going to be just a first step in our learning session, and we'll be very happy to host you for hands-on training session, and we'll be also very happy to provide you all required technology adaptation session in this regard. Today, we are going to discuss basic design and construction consideration in hydroponics farming system. नमस्कार, मी आपल्या सर्वांचं आजच्या ह्या दुसऱ्या सेशनमध्ये विज्ञान आश्रमातर्फे स्वागत करतो. तुम्ही सर्वजण ह्या वेबिनार सेशनसाठी उपस्थित झालेले आहात, त्यासाठी मनापासून धन्यवाद. जसं आपण आधी म्हटलं की हे वेबिनार सिरीज ही एक आपलं पहिलं पाऊल आहे, पण तुम्हाला ह्या संदर्भात पाबळ येथे ट्रेनिंगसाठी आणि इतर मदतीसाठी बोलवण्यात आम्हाला नक्कीच आनंद होईल. आजच्या आपल्या ह्या सेशनमध्ये आपण हायड्रोपॉनिक्सचे डिझाईन आणि हायड्रोपॉनिक शेती करताना कुठल्या गोष्टींचा मुख्य करून विचार केला जातो ह्याच्यावर चर्चा करणार आहोत. So today we will discuss on the quick review of hydroponics benefit, as this we have already discussed in last session. We are also going to see structures or different types of hydroponic designs and considerations need to be done while selecting it. We are also going to touch the topic of fertigation, which is supposed to be a heart of hydroponics cultivation, and the one who understand it is definitely going to have more success in this precision farming technology. तर आज आपण हायड्रोपॉनिक्स काय आहे आणि त्याच्यातले मुख्य चॅलेंजेस काय आहेत हे बघणारच आहोत. त्याशिवाय आपण हायड्रोपॉनिक शेतीमध्ये कशा पद्धतीनं आपल्याला वेगवेगळ्या पद्धती वापरता येतील आणि त्या पद्धती निवडताना कुठल्या गोष्टींचा विचार करायला हवा ह्याच्यावर चर्चा करणार आहोत. त्याचबरोबर आपण फर्टिगेशन म्हणजे झाडांना पाण्याच्या द्वारे किंवा पाण्यात विरघळणारी खतं कशा पद्धतीने दिली जातात आणि त्यासाठी कुठल्या गोष्टींचा विचार केला जातो ह्यावरही चर्चा करणार आहोत. फर्टिगेशन हे हायड्रोपॉनिक्सचे अत्यंत महत्वाचा भाग आहे आणि ज्या शेतकऱ्यांना फर्टिगेशन चांगलं समजेल त्यांना हायड्रोपॉनिक शेती करताना काही अडचणी येणार नाहीत. So let's start our with a simple comparison between the conventional farming method and hydroponic or aquaponic kind of precision farming system. आपण थोडंसं हे बघून घेऊया की हायड्रोपॉनिक्स आणि आपल्या नेहमीच्या शेतीमध्ये मुख्य फरक काय. As we said, hydroponics is a cultivation without soil, but this is just a definition. When we think of practicing it, we have to learn and think more on how does it actually been applied in a field, and what kind of science or what kind of methodologies are required to be learned while practicing hydroponics. If we see in conventional farming, soil is very important parameter. आपल्या नेहमीच्या शेतीमध्ये मातीचं एक खूप महत्व आहे, कारण मातीमध्ये सर्व प्रकारची झाडांना लागणारी अन्नद्रव्य साठवणं आणि झाडांना आधार देणं हे दोन्ही काम माती करत असते. So soil actually provides nutrition storage and support structure to the plant, whereas in hydroponics the water acts as a nutrient storage and artificial support is most of the times provided. Then in conventional farming, nutrient mobility is depend on is mainly variable. It's not, we cannot define it very precisely. And again, because of weeds or because of other factors like temperature, drainage, and all, nutrient mobility get affected. Whereas in hydroponics, we focused on proper or controlled nutrient mobility, and we that's why we can have more density of plants and more production. In conventional farming, soil hosts lot of microbes, and they are very important in farming, so that they help us in making nutrient mobile and take them towards plant. Whereas in hydroponics, our focus is to provide water soluble nutrient so that it will be easily accepted by plants. So it's not, it doesn't mean that we are completely neglecting or removing microbes in hydroponic system, but the more emphasis is giving ready-made food to plants rather than depend on microbial activities. Again, if we see in conventional farming, the fertilizer doses are bit higher because fertilizers are mainly provided to fulfill the demand of soil rather than the demand of plants, because as we said there are many variables, so we see that soil has a full amount of nutrient and then maximum will move to the plant. In hydroponics we see that the fertilizers will be provided in much precision way, and they'll be used by plants in a again in much precision way, so the emphasis is actually reducing fertilizer doses. In traditional farming, it's suitable for field crops or long-term fruit trees and many other crops, whereas in hydroponics it suits mainly for high-density vegetable and short-term fruit vegetable crops. तर नेहमीच्या शेतीमध्ये आणि हायड्रोपॉनिक्स मध्ये मुख्य फरक असा आहे की आपण पाण्यात विरघळणारी खतं देतोय आणि ती खतं आपण तेवढ्याच प्रमाणात देतो जेवढ्या प्रमाणात झाडं वापरू शकतील. त्यामुळे हायड्रोपॉनिक्स मध्ये कमी खतांच्या डोस मध्ये आपल्याला जास्त प्लांट डेन्सिटी म्हणजे जास्त पीक घेऊन जास्त फायदा मिळवणं शक्य आहे. Now if we see and if we can apply these advantages in a in actual farm, then we can see that there are many advantages of hydroponics and over the conventional farming. The first is of course the recycling of water and nutrients, because it's a closed system. Like a conventional farming, we are not draining out our nutrients or washing out our nutrients. Then it required lower labor and land preparation cost, because again it's a closed system and we increase plant population so that our operations becomes little lesser than the conventional farming. Then there is a precision control on climatic conditions, and this method can be applied in urban farming area where the terraces or smaller areas are available. And this actually serves premium market because our food or our production is also premium quality. There are two distinct examples which I know personally or I have visited them. One is a company called Green Tokri. It's situated in Saswad near Pune, and another is Landcraft Agro. It's situated near Kolhapur. So they have used these advantages very well, and they are doing hydroponics on a commercial scale. So if we apply these things in a field and if we understand the science and technology behind it, it can be commercialized. तर हायड्रोपॉनिक्सचा उपयोग करून व्यापारी शेती करणं शक्य आहे आणि भारतामध्ये ह्या सगळ्या फायद्यांचा उपयोग करून ग्रीन टोकरी किंवा लँडक्राफ्ट किंवा ट्रिकय यासारख्या कंपन्या हे मोठ्या प्रमाणावर करून बाजारामध्ये भाजीपाला विकतायत. Of course, there are challenges also, and we need to understand these challenges because there are only few examples of commercialization. So is it very difficult or is it very highly investment required thing? If we understand these challenges, we can also think about new approaches or innovative ways for overcoming them. Like in hydroponics, we see that it requires polyhouse. Actually, there is a way, so you don't require polyhouse every time. When you go on a grow bag kind of cultivation, then it can be done on open scale. Again, the cost of fertilizers are high because we use water soluble fertilizers which are costly. Yes, it's true, but when we use it judiciously and scientifically, the cost actually comes down. Then people say that hydroponics uses very high scale chemical fertilizers and it's not good to environment. To the some extent it's true. If we drain out the chemicals, then they goes back to nature or drain out in a river and it get polluted. But again, if we understand this technique well, if we try to use it judiciously, then the water soluble fertilizers are not that much costly and they are not going to pollute. And again, we can use vermiwash, Jivamrut in equal amount for hydroponics cultivation. The fourth thing is the seeds, particularly exotic seeds, are costly. Yes, it's true because there is almost a monopoly in a market for exotic vegetable seeds. Then it required very high skill for farming. It's not true actually. If you have a basic understanding of science and a passion for farming, you can do it on very easily. त्या हायड्रोपॉनिक्स मध्ये बरेचसे चॅलेंजेस आहेत, पण ते चॅलेंजेस आपल्याला ओव्हरकम करण्यासाठी, त्या चॅलेंजेसवर, त्या अडचणींवर मात करण्यासाठी पण बरेचसे पर्याय उपलब्ध आहेत. आणि ह्यासाठी आपल्याला काही खूप वेगळे किंवा खूप अवघड गोष्टी शिकायच्या नाहीयेत. साध्या साध्या गोष्टी आपण जर का समजून घेतल्या तर आपल्याला हायड्रोपॉनिक्स करणं सहज शक्य आहे. But of course, if we neglect science and if we go on copy paste kind of approach, so we are saying somewhere, we are saying on a YouTube, WhatsApp, and then we are going to implement it, or again we fall in the hands of so-called consultant, then we are going to be in a trouble. तर आपण कोणाचं तरी बघून काहीतरी करण्यापेक्षा ते समजून घेतलं तर आपल्याला हायड्रोपॉनिक्स फायद्यामध्ये करणं शक्य आहे. So let us see what are the different designs and how we decide that which design we can adapt for our farm. There are different considerations like which plant we are going to grow, what kind of fertilizers we are going to use, then what scale we are thinking of, whether we are thinking about hobby or on a urban farming scale or on a core farming scale, then what is the elevation of our land. Based on that also we can decide what cost we are thinking of the investment. Again, what growing media we are thinking of, whether we are happy to go with the water or we want to have some other media, and then what kind of nutrient transfer mechanism we understood. There are around 6 different methodologies in hydroponics, and we are going to see them in a detail in coming slides. But we need to think about these 3 4 parameters before going on the construction or designing of our system. त्या आपण 5 6 वेगवेगळ्या पद्धतीने हायड्रोपॉनिक शेती करू शकतो. पण आपण झाडं कुठली लावणार आहे, आपण कुठल्या किती मोठ्या प्रमाणावर ही शेती आपल्याला करायची आहे, त्यानंतर आपण आपल्या जमिनीचा उतार किंवा त्या पद्धतीच्या गोष्टी विचारात घेणार आहे का, त्याचबरोबर आपण किती पैसे त्याच्यामध्ये इन्व्हेस्ट करायचा विचार करतोय, किती मोठ्या प्रमाणावर आपल्याला ती गोष्ट करायची आहे, ह्याच्यावरनं ठरेल की आपल्याला कुठल्या प्रकारचं हायड्रोपॉनिक्स आपल्याकडे करायचंय. साधारण 6 वेगवेगळ्या पद्धतीनं आपल्याला हायड्रोपॉनिक्स करता येतं. ती प्रत्येक पद्धत आपण पुढे येणाऱ्या स्लाइडवर विचारात घेणार आहोत किंवा त्याची माहिती घेणार आहोत. पण पद्धत महत्वाची नाहीये. ती पद्धत कशा पद्धतीनं डिराईव्ह झालेली आहे किंवा कशा पद्धतीनं तयार केली आहे, त्याच्या मागचा विचार काय आहे, तो विचार जर का आपण समजून घेतला, तर आपल्याला ती पद्धत निवडणं जास्त सोपं जातं. तर आपण आता त्या पद्धती बघूया. सो लेट्स सी व्हॉट आर द डिफरंट टाइप्स ऑफ हायड्रोपॉनिक्स. The first and very popular is DWC, deep water culture. It's basically a floating sheets or floating structure on a water. So you use light density material like thermocol or PU foam, and then you drill a hole and put your plant there. So the plant's root gets suspended in a deep water around 1 to 1.5 feet. Then you provide aeration and all your nutrients goes in that water tank, and plants floats and grows. So it's a low cost, simple technique, and it used on large scale for commercial farming also. Of course, there are disadvantages, like though it's a lower cost, but you only use one layer of your farm. So it's basically a conventional farm or a flat farm with a stagnant water. Then you which plants you can grow, there are plenty, but salads, tomato flavors more because they like to have their roots suspended in a water. So the hardwood plant like brinjal, capsicums are difficult, but it's not uh, completely impossible. But salads, tomatoes grows well. The deep वॉटर कल्चरमध्ये आपण झाडं पाण्यावर तरंगत ठेवतो. तुम्ही फोटो किंवा व्हिडिओ पण तसे बघितले असतील. आणि सलाडसाठी किंवा पाणी आवडणाऱ्या झाडांसाठी हे चांगले आहेत. आपण सगळी खतं ही त्या पाण्यातच टाकतो. त्या पाण्याला आपण सर्क्युलेशन देऊ शकतो. त्यात आपल्याला बबलिंग करायला लागतं. पण बेसिकली पाण्यामध्ये झाडं तरंगत असतात आणि त्यासाठी आपण थर्माकोल किंवा त्या पद्धतीच्या शीट्स वापरू शकतो. The photographs of our uh, power system and again the landcraft system. So you have basically a, a thermocol sheet, and these are the bacills grown. The bed is removed and showed outside, but it looks like this. You either use HDP sheets or you can have a plastered water tank, and it can be done on a large scale. Then second technique or second method is NFT. तर दुसरी पद्धत म्हणजे NFT, न्यूट्रिएंट फिल्म टेक्निक. ह्याच्यामध्ये आपण झाडं पाण्यामध्ये ठेवायच्या ऐवजी पाणीच झाडांच्या मुळापाशी घेऊन जातो. So here what we do is we create a flow of water so that a film of nutrient will be formed around root zone, and that's why it's called NFT, nutrient film technique. By name it's clear that the load of system is going to be lower because you no need to carry the whole water body to the plant. You can have a small film, so you pump water and put it around root zone, and then water comes back to your tank. So this is more efficient system. You can use vertical space, but the cost of system is higher because you use lot of structural material. And again, which plant you can grow here is salads, hang down plants, but the plants which requires higher uh, uh, vertical space are not very favorable. So if I grow tomatoes, then if I go in multiple layers, all 2-3 layers will get mixed, and then the management become little difficult. तर आपल्याला NFT मध्ये पण वेगवेगळी झाडं लावता येतील, पण कमी उंचीची, वरून खाली वाढणारी, जसं स्ट्रॉबेरी सारखी गोष्टी पण NFT मध्ये लावतात. NFT चा सगळ्यात मोठा फायदा हा आहे की आपल्याला उभी शेती करता येते, म्हणजे आपल्याला व्हर्टिकल फार्मिंग करता येतं. सो दिस इज द सेकंड method. And there are plenty of different designs available. पिरॅमिड शेप मध्ये करता येईल, वर्टिकल शेप मध्ये एकच लेअर मध्ये करता येईल, आणि अशा पद्धतीनं हॉबी स्केल सिस्टीम पण करता येतील. NFT आपल्याला बाल्कनी मध्ये, विंडो मध्ये, टेरेस वर लावणं सहज शक्य आहे. तर आपल्याला NFT मध्ये पण काम. The third system which we discussed little bit in the last session is of course a flood and drain, which we like a lot because it has a advantage of combination of DWC and NFT, and you eliminate disadvantage of aeroponics, what we discussed last time also. Aeroponics मध्ये आपल्याला मुळांच्या जवळ खूप जास्त प्रेशरनी मिस्ट तयार करायला लागतो. तो आपल्याला फ्लड अँड ड्रेन मध्ये करायला लागणार नाही. आणि DWC आणि NFT चे जे काही आपल्याला अडचणी आहेत त्या फ्लड अँड ड्रेन मध्ये आपल्याला कमी करता येतील. So what is flood and drain is basically you flood the whole bed and then you drain out completely. So the complete bed or roots get submerged into water, and then it as it drained out, the oxygen or the air comes or poured in, so the roots get air and water simultaneously, water in the sense nutrient. So your plants are most happy in this system because they get air and water nutrient equally distributed. So the flood and drain is also very useful system. Here you use land elevation, so your land get better use and you require lower energy to pump water or to circulate water. So you can see flood and drain, we have papaya, we also try to plant bananas, then we have vine crops, आळू आहे इथं लावलेला आणि ह्याच्यासाठी आपल्याला पंपिंगची एनर्जी खूप कमी लागते. NFT you can convert into flood and drain. This system is actually a flood and drain system but looks like NFT. It's again we build in a ashram and it's a hobby scaled small system. So you have three layers and each layer get drained out and each layer get again fulfilled. And here down we have vermicompost. So the vermi tea is been collected or vermi wash is collected here and pumped up. तर इथं आपण फ्लड अँड ड्रेन सिस्टीम इथं ही लावलेली आहे छोटीशी, की जिथं खाली गांडुळांचा बेड आहे आणि गांडूळ पाणीच आपण वर्मी वॉशच आपण इथं सर्क्युलेट करतो. पण फ्लड अँड ड्रेन मेथडनी सर्क्युलेट करतो, NFT नी करत नाही. त्यामुळे आपल्याला पंप कायम चालू ठेवायला लागत नाहीये, तर आपली लाईट वाचते आणि झाडांच्या मुळांना पण ऑक्सिजन आणि पाणी समप्रमाणात मिळाल्यामुळं त्यांची वाढ चांगली होते. सो दिस इज the fourth one is it's again used on a large scale on commercial farms. It's called grow bag or it's also called drip method of hydroponics because you need to fix a drip line to this grow bags, and grow bags are basically bags filled with some growing media. Which growing media and how to select that, what are different growing medias, we are going to discuss further. But normally you get ready-made bags with coco peat or a mixture of different growing media, but you can use ready-made bags. We used onion bags here, then green shade net, we prepared bags from green shade net. This we are doing an ashram as a terrace farming experiment. Then there are ready-made bags available with HDPE or that kind of material. The grow bags पण बाजारात मिळतात, त्यात कोकोपीट भरलेलं असतं किंवा आपण आपल्या ग्रो बॅग स्वतः बनवू शकतो. जसं आम्ही ह्या कांद्यांच्या पिशव्या वापरून केलेल्या आहे किंवा शेडनेट वापरून केलेल्या आहेत, तर अशा पण बॅग्स आपण वापरू शकतो. आणि हे पण हायड्रोपॉनिक्सच आहे, जरी आपण इथं पाण्यावर तरंगणारी शेती करत नसलो तरी, कारण आपण खतं आणि बाकी सगळ्या गोष्टी पाण्यातनं देतोय म्हणून. तर तिथं आपण काही मीडिया वापरलाय, जसं की कोकोपीट आहे आणि अजून काही कंपोस्ट आहे, पण ते काय मीडिया असतो, कसा निवडायचा हे आपण ठरवू शकतो. पण तरी पण ही पण एक हायड्रोपॉनिक्सची सिस्टीम. There are other methods also, like one of the method is wick method. आपण वात लावतो खाली पाण्याला. So basically you put a tray with a water solution and then you put some material which will have a capillary action so that water will be pumped up and then your plants are getting water. The second method is of course aeroponics. We discussed a little bit last time, but aeroponics is spraying water nutrient to the roots instead of putting roots in a water or taking complete water film to the root. And this system is also useful. It's bit higher cost because you required high pressure pump and filters and all, and but still it's in use. And in India also it's used for production of potato seeds. ICER, Agriculture Council of Agriculture Research, is promoting this. Indian Council of Agriculture Research is promoting this system. And then we had a small discussion last time on microgreens or sprouts. You can have your own system of a microgreen also. So if you understand the basic genesis behind different systems. You can design your own system with your own combinations. But these are the 4 5 different methods available for hydroponics farm. So as we said, there are different consideration while choosing a system, and we'll see this consideration one by one. आपण जसं म्हटलं की आपली झाडं कुठली आहेत, आपली जागा कुठली आहे, ह्याच्यावर आपल्याला ठरवायला लागेल की आपल्याला कुठली पद्धत निवडायची आहे. से फॉर एक्झाम्पल, बेस्ड ऑन प्लांट, you can have your preference and genesis behind that. As we said, for salads, DWC and NFT is better because for higher plant population and water loving conditions, these plants grow better. Then for vegetables like tomatoes, cucumber, again NFT and DWC is better because they prefer, here also we prefer to have um, the plant height need to be considered, and again we need to think about the plant population. For the vegetables, especially the hardwood crops, uh, better to have flood and drain system or grow bags because they don't prefer to have uh, watery condition or waterlogged conditions. So they perform better in flood and drain system. For strawberry like crops, grow bags are again better because uh, you can have a multiple layers and hanging down kind of things. And there are suckers which prefer to move further and get touch into a grow media or soil, and it grows better. For orchid kind of crops, cocoa chips or नारळाच्या करवंट्या जास्त चांगल्या असतात कारण ड्रेनेज त्यात चांगलं असतं, एरिएशन पण त्यातनं चांगलं होतं. So based on plant, you can select preferred. Based on construction material, of course, DWC and DWC and flood and drain is bit easy to adapt and lower cost required. NFT required lot of construction material like PVC or specialized shrubs. Bamboo may be used, but again, bamboo is going to degrade. Specialized tubes are available, so all that material is available. Then planter you need to choose, like these are the cups available, or you can use a sponge or foam sheet, cocoa coir you can use. Then for uh, grow beds, you got grow beds with a coco pit, whether it's sterile or not sterile, pH stabilized, that you need to think of. There are other medias also like perlite, vermiculite, which can be selected based on their property of water holding and all that. And then you also required water pump, a blower, drainage line, fertigation tank, which we are going to have little more discussion on that in next coming up session. But these are the basic component of your system. तर ह्या सगळ्या गोष्टी वापरून आपल्याला किंवा ह्या सगळ्या गोष्टींच्या खर्चावरनं आपल्याला ठरवायला लागेल की आपल्याला कुठल्या प्रकारची सिस्टीम करायची आहे. पण DWC असू देत किंवा NFT असू देत, काही कॉमन गोष्टी सगळ्या सिस्टीमला लागणार आहेत, जसं की नेट पॉट लागतील किंवा पाण्याचा पंप लागेल, ऑक्सिजनचा किंवा एअरचा ब्लोअर लागेल, ड्रेनेज लाईन लागतील, फर्टिगेशन टँक लागू शकेल मोठ्या सिस्टीमला. तर ह्या सगळ्या गोष्टींचा विचार करून आपल्याला सिस्टीम ठरवता येते. We had a little discussion on a grow bags or a grow media. So, and either you use water as a grow media so that all your nutrients get mobilized with it, but you need to give a support to your plant. Again, you can use a media or a bags filled with media like cocoa peat or a different product of cocoa husk you can use. Then there is a media available called vermiculite or peat moss. Vermiculite is a mineral, so it, you dig out it from soil and use it as a grow media. Peat moss is basically a dried moss collected from forest or cultivated and collected. But uh, what we think while selecting grow media, basic genesis is its water holding capacity. So you need to have a proper water holding capacity of your media. It should not be reactive, so it should not react with your fertilizer or with your water. should be pH stable. What is pH and all we are going to discuss in detail in next session. It should have a longer life, so it should not degrade. If it's reactive, it's going to degrade. If it's not reactive, it's going to last long. But we experimented in Vigyan Ashram on different grow medias, and we found that combination of vermiculite, which is a mineral, then around 25% of coco peat and 50% of farmyard manure is best suited. So you can have a combination of different things, so it suits better to your requirement, your crop, or your design, your cropping condition. तर कुठल्या प्रकारचा मीडिया वापरायचा हे आपल्याला ठरवायला लागेल किंवा आपल्याला ठरवता येतं. पण कुठलाही एकच न वापरता आपल्याला कॉम्बिनेशन पण करता येतं, आणि कॉम्बिनेशन केलं तर जास्त चांगलं राहतं. कारण फक्त कोकोपीट घेतलं तर वॉटर होल्डिंग कॅपॅसिटी साधारण 70% होते आणि मग झाडांना त्रास होतो. कोकोपीट आणि व्हर्मिक्युलाइट असं मिक्स केलं तर आपल्याला 35-40% वॉटर होल्डिंग कॅपॅसिटी आहे, आणि त्यातनं खतं पण मिळतायत, हवा पण म्हणजे वापसा पण राहतोय, तर झाडं अजून चांगली वाढतात. पण हे सगळे वेगवेगळे पर्याय आपल्याकडं उपलब्ध आहेत. आपण ह्या पर्यायांचं प्रॉपर्टी काय आहे, ती ती प्रॉपर्टी आपल्या पिकाला सुटेबल आहे का, त्याची किंमत किती आहे, ह्या सगळ्याचा विचार करून आपण ग्रो मीडिया निवडला पाहिजे. As I said, we are only going to touch on fertigation in today's session because we are having a separate session on fertigation. But fertigation is giving fertilizers through water. That's called fertigation, and it's a heart of hydroponics. So one who knows fertigation, its science, its application, is better known hydroponics and better performing, able to perform hydroponics. So fertigation we need to understand in a way of little bit of basic understanding of physics, chemistry, and biology, because it's a transporting fertilizer to the plants, so to the living body. So there we need to understand all this concept a little bit. Though I am saying it little bit or to the basic level, we took around 1.5 or 2 years to understand this, and then we are able to practice it. So you need to understand it thoroughly in a way of applying it, and those who understand it better are in a better position of performing it in a field. So what you need to understand in hydro fertigation is these 5 4 things. तर आपल्याला ह्या 5 6 गोष्टी जास्त समजून घ्यायच्या आहेत फर्टिगेशन आपण जेव्हा समजून घेतो तेव्हा. तर त्या कुठल्या आहेत? वन इज न्यूट्रिएंट ट्रान्सपोर्ट theories. So how the nutrient is been taken to the plant. Second is role of pH, electrical conductivity, total dissolved solids. Then role of different nutrient in plant growth. Then how to mix them, how to use organic formulation to reduce cost, or to have better performance, is what we are going to discuss in fertigation. But as I said, today we are only going to touch this topic because it will be too much to understand in one session, and in next session detailed discussion on this. So these slides are going to be repetitive, don't worry. But if you see the transport mechanism of fertilizers in a plant, you will see that there are around 16-17 different essential nutrients is required by plant, but out of that 14 are nutrient we call mineral nutrient. So they are the minerals, and out of that 14, these 6 are micronutrients and remaining are micronutrients. So nitrogen, then potash, phosphorus, calcium, magnesium, and sulfur are the micronutrient. They are the part of plant body in a form of protein, in a form of cell wall, a membrane. They are part of chlorophyll. They involved in energy transfer, water maintenance. So we need to understand their role. Potassium is also very important in maintaining osmotic potential in a nutrient solution or in a plant cell. So it plays important role. Then how these nutrients are been taken to the plant root, how they flows, and how they is taken inside of plant root is also important to understand. There are two different theories when we see that how these nutrients are taken from media to root surface. It's called diffusion theory and mass flow theory. These are two important ones. There are other three also, but these are the important one, and we need to understand them to avoid channeling, to avoid accumulation of fertilizers to the one end of our system, and to maintain proper osmotic pressure. And second is how the nutrients are being transported inside of plant. So inside of plant they get transported by active and passive transportation, and for that we need to understand little bit of total dissolved solid, the concept of TDS, and osmotic pressure. तर ह्या तीन चार गोष्टी आपण जर का समजून घेतल्या तर आपल्याला फायदा होईल, कारण पाण्यातून किंवा मातीतून झाडांच्या मुळापर्यंत ही खतं कशी जातात आणि मुळापासून झाडांच्या पानापर्यंत ही खतं कशी जातात हे जर का आपल्याला समजलं तर आपल्याला फर्टिगेशन जास्त चांगल्या पद्धतीनं अप्लाय करता येईल. आणि त्यासाठी ह्या गोष्टीवर आपण पुढच्या सेशनमध्ये बोलणार आहे. आता फक्त आपण एवढंच बघतोय की ह्या गोष्टी आपल्या डिझाईनला कशा पद्धतीनं अफेक्ट करतात किंवा कशा पद्धतीनं त्या आपल्याला विचारात घ्यायला लागतात. तर डिफ्युजन आणि मास फ्लो मध्ये आपण असं बघतो की एकाच ठिकाणी खतं अडकून राहायला नको आणि कुठंतरी एकाच ठिकाणी ऑस्मॉटिक प्रेशर वाढायला नको आपल्या सिस्टीम मध्ये, आपल्या पाण्यामध्ये. आणि तिचं TDS चांगला असेल तर मग, किंवा पाणी वाहतं असेल तर हे तसं होणार नाही. त्यासाठी आपण ही गोष्ट विचारात घेतोय. And the last one is, of course, we are going to repeat it in the next session, but pH is measuring of hydrogen ion concentration, and it's measured on 0 to 14 scale, acidic to alkaline. And in hydroponics we prefer slightly acidic condition. आपण हायड्रोपॉनिक्स 5 मध्ये 5.5 ते 6.5 असा pH ठेवतो. का ते आपण पुढे बघणार आहोत पुढच्या सेशन मध्ये. Then EC is electrical conductivity, and it's measured in decimal per meter or microdecimal in a per centimeter kind of unit. And in hydroponics we prefer to have 0.25 to 1 decimals per meter of conductivity. टोटल डिझॉल्व सॉलिड्स आपण ह्यासाठी बघतो की EC कशामुळं कमी जास्त होतोय हे समजण्यासाठी TDS महत्वाचा आहे. अल्कलिनिटी पण आपण पाण्याची बघतो, विच इज ऍसिड न्यूट्रलायझिंग कॅपॅसिटी. आणि आपल्याला माहिती आहे, जे शेतकरी ड्रीप वापरतात त्यांना माहिती आहे की अल्कलिनिटी 150च्या वर असतील तर ड्रिपर बंद होतात, ते प्रॉब्लेम होतात. तर हायड्रोपॉनिक्स मध्ये पण अल्कलिनिटी महत्वाची आहे, आणि तसंच पाण्याचा हार्डनेस पण महत्वाचा आहे. So hardness is basically amount of calcium and magnesium in your water. If calcium and magnesium is higher than required, then it affect other nutrient mobility also. So we also need to know little bit about that. But we are not going to discuss in depth today. In next session, we will have discussion on this. For better understanding in next session, I'll uh, I'll post these two documents on our group on email also. So those who want to understand it in a depth, if they refer these two documents, it will be helpful for them. तर ह्या दोन डॉक्युमेंट मी तुम्हाला ग्रुपवर आणि मेलवर पाठवेन, आणि ते जर का बघून घेतले तर पुढच्या सेशन मध्ये तुम्हाला अडचण येणार नाही ह्या गोष्टी समजण्यासाठी. कारण तुम्हाला आता पण जाणवलं असेल की फर्टिगेशन वर आपण बोलायला लागलो तर आपण खूप जास्त सायंटिफिक किंवा टेक्निकल टर्म मी वापरायला लागलो, आणि त्यामुळं अडचण येते, भीती वाटते ह्या सगळ्या गोष्टी समजून घेताना. सो फर्टिगेशन इज bit of more technical, bit of more science, but if you go through these documents, you'll find it easy and easy to understand and easy to apply. So if you go through these documents before next session, we can have a more discussion on this. I'm going to stop here. We discussed different type of hydroponics, different considerations in deciding one required for us or suitable for us. And then I welcome your questions, your feedbacks. Now the topic is open for the discussion.